let's hear from Mark Murphy, the president and CEO of the Green Bay Packers. And before we hear from him, let's remember it was just a week or so ago that he wrote at Packers.com that he believes it's in the best interest to resolve this divisive situation for both sides to say as little as possible publicly. There it is. As little as possible. We are working to resolve the situation and realize that the less both sides say publicly, the better. With that as the backdrop, let's hear what Mark Murphy had to say publicly about the Aaron Rodgers situation late last week.
I'm often reminded, though, Ted Thompson, I think most of you know, just a great general manager, passed away this past year. Or excuse me, earlier this year. Often talked about Aaron, that he's and it wasn't just Aaron, a lot of different players, he would say, he's a complicated fella. So I'll just say that.
You boy. Look, hey, we know he's a complicated fella. You know he's a complicated fella. All of you out there who pay any attention to the National Football League realize that Aaron Rodgers is a complicated fella. You don't make him any less complicated by saying it when you are the guy who runs the football team that is supposedly trying to unburn the bridge between Rodgers and the organization. What is going on here, Chris? I really do think Mark Murphy is trying to get him to not show up.
Mike, when I read those comments, I went, Florio might be right. Mark Murphy might actually not want Rodgers to be there at all. Like, to me, like the big thing to me, and first off, reading it and hearing it is a different level. Actually reading it makes Mark Murphy look a little better. When you hear it and the way he ends it and just, I'll leave it at that, like, that's more insulting. You'll leave it at that? Oh, okay. Like, what I really want to go is Mark, what the hell is Mark Murphy doing is what I want to say. It is complete bullcrap what he's doing, actually. It really is. If Aaron Rodgers was doing this and still putting out cryptic messages over the last week, oh my gosh, every talk show, you would have had 7 headlines this weekend on Pro Football Talk. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but you know that's the way it would be if it was Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. It's messed up.
It's messed up. Look,
I know.
Have I not said it's
no,
the Packers' fault?
You're right.
Have I not said what they're trying to do?
I know. I'm glorifying the magnitude of this if the roles were reversed. And like, back to the letter too, hey, thanks, Ken. Hey, Ken, the bastards that are dragging things down are the bastards you're writing to. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to call Mark Murphy that, but he's the one that's created this issue. And now he's fanning the fire. I mean, that's to me, like, I don't know. It's inexcusable. It's unprofessional. It's cryptic. It's jerky. It's not how you run the organization. I really have nothing positive to say about it.
2 explanations.
Yeah.
It just kind of happened inadvertently or it was strategic. And I'm going to assume that we're talking about folks who operate their business at a high level, understand what it means to say things publicly, and that there are no accidents. Nothing gets blurted out. Now, if it was inadvertent, it still gives us a glimpse into what he's really thinking. And I agree with you, Chris. When he pins the tail on the donkey with, I'll leave it at that, what that means is there's a hell of a lot more I'd like to say.
Right.
That is unflattering to this guy. I'll leave it at that. He's a complicated fella. I'll leave it at that. Meaning what would come next would not fall in the bucket of abject praise of Aaron Rodgers. So, again, it's either on purpose or it just sort of happened. Either way, I think that it pushes that needle further toward us realizing that if Mark Murphy had his way, Aaron Rodgers never plays football again, or at a minimum doesn't play this year. They net between salary, bonuses that aren't paid, bonuses that are recovered, more than $30 million that they can use to reinvest in other players, and they find out what Jordan Love has. And you know what? If Jordan Love stinks, Mark Murphy didn't draft him. Brian Gutekunst did. Murphy's got the ultimate safe harbor here for this thing to blow up, and if Love doesn't work out, well, it's Brian Gutekunst's fault, not mine. He's the scout. I'm not. He's the one that evaluated Jordan Love, and he thought he was going to be good. And if there's anyone to blame him. So I really think that's what Murphy wants to find out. Let's find out what this guy has. Let's not have to be held hostage by this complicated fella who's going to be saying passive-aggressive things or aggressive things all year long. Let's just not deal with it. Let's move forward. That's what we do. We move forward from Brett Favre. We're moving forward from Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, well, good luck. I mean, he to me.
Not saying it's right.
Yeah.
Not saying it's right.
No,
I
I
just
know
think
you're not.
that's what he wants.
No, you're right. I mean, listen, the way it looks, I kind of agree with you right now. I mean, I do. And, off of that, though, that's nice. Maybe that's what he wants. Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it's right. Of course I don't think it's right. I mean, he created the problem. The Packers shareholders, they're gonna have to have a little conversation at some point. Wait, yeah, he's not the owner of the team. He's the guy, though, that's in control of the guy who drafted this first-round pick at quarterback and could have stepped in and said, no, don't do it. This is stupid. We're asking for career suicide, and we're going to ruin the organization. He didn't, so he should be held accountable. And I'll tell you, with these little comments, too, if he does not want, if this, like, the main thing is like you're talking about and what you've been on, like, this is all about maybe he really doesn't want him there, and he does, we'll save the money and don't have to deal with it and all that. This isn't helping. Aaron Rodgers, the type of guy who reads this and goes, this freaking ASS beep, okay? I'm going to show this guy all about what I got. I bet you Aaron Rodgers went out and worked harder this weekend because he goes, man, I can't wait to get to Green Bay and just totally ruin Mark Murphy's life. And I'm just going to play awesome and ruin everybody's time. And I'm going to make it so hard. Do they not? Again, obviously, they do not know who they're dealing with. They don't. There's obviously like a stupid disconnect there where they don't really know this complicated fella. They might need to do a little more research on him because this is the type of stuff, in my opinion, of a Rodgers. He's going to come back and go, hey, up yours. I'm here and I'm better than ever. And he's going to have lots of cryptic text messages if you keep poking him this way.
There's a chance that they have underestimated him, or to borrow a line from the great Michael Scott, that they are properly estimating him. And This is Chapter 3 of Mark Murphy's effort to poke the bear just enough to get the absolute best performance from the bear. And I go back to Tyler Dunn's story from Bleacher Report 2 years ago when Murphy seemed pleased that all this crap was hitting the fan about Rodgers and former head coach Mike McCarthy. And Murphy made the comment along the lines of maybe this will upset some people in a good way. Well, drafting Jordan Love upset someone in a good way. Maybe this comment aimed at upsetting Aaron Rodgers in a good way. If it was intentional, if it was deliberate, if there's a method to the madness here, it is that the end result is exactly what you're predicting. Rodgers goes out and works harder. Rodgers is determined to come to town and be even better than last year and ultimately win that Super Bowl and pull the Paul Crewe moment at the end where he scoops up the game ball and sticks it in Murphy's stomach and says, go put this in your trophy case. And they win a Super Bowl and then they trade him. I mean, maybe they are trying to manipulate him here.
Maybe.
I think it's past that.
Yeah,
I think the manipulation's over. I think that's one of the reasons why he's so pissed off. He knows he's been manipulated.
Yeah, I agree too. And I think, with all that you said there, again, maybe it motivated and did things like that. But I don't know. I don't have enough history or enough knowledge or enough evidence to ever think Mark Murphy's this smart, that he's this tactical and doing these type of things. I'm sorry. I just can't.
You don't become the CEO of the Packers and hold that job for over a decade.
I understand.
If you're not strategic and tactical.
He can be to a degree, but I don't think to this degree. I mean, maybe he said that when Tyler Dunn back when wrote that article because he meant maybe Mike McCarthy will get in order. Maybe it wasn't about Aaron Rodgers. I don't really know.
McCarthy was fired.
And so he was already fired by then? Okay, so listen, either way. But, again, as somebody who's been around football my whole life, you've been following it, your whole life, anybody I talk to who's been around the sport, nobody can make sense of the draft pick, the situation, the handling of this whole situation, nothing. And the smart play, ultimately what we're talking about is if you wanted Super Bowl, was not to take a quarterback last year in the first round. That was not. If the ultimate goal was to get Super Bowl, it wasn't waste 2 picks on something that will not help us get to the Super Bowl at all. And I think that's where I always come back to go, no, Mark Murphy's not that smart. They just messed this up.
Yeah, they packaged a 1 and a 4 to move from 30 to 26 to get Jordan Love after Justin Jefferson went off the board, after Brandon Ayuk went off the board when the 49ers leapfrogged the Packers a couple of receivers they wanted. Instead of drafting a receiver at 30 or trading down and taking a Chase Claypool later, wouldn't that have been something if the Packers had done that? They decide to leap up and activate the Aaron Rodgers succession plan, the secret folder that someone was carrying around for use at an unknown time for an unknown reason. Here we go. And you know what, Chris? It may have been as simple as they feared at some point this complicated fella was going to hold them hostage the way that Brett Favre did, and they were going to be stuck with some slappy as the backup if Aaron Rodgers just decided out of the blue, I'm done. Like Barry Sanders right before training camp. I'm done. I'm out. And they got nobody at that point.
I hear you. But we have no evidence that was anywhere. That's just, it's hypothetical because I mean we knew with Brett Favre there was inklings. You heard rumors. He wasn't sure how much he wanted to play. None of that was available or a talking point with Aaron Rodgers. Nobody was thinking that at all. I mean, he wasn't hinting at that towards anyone or anything like that. So I understand, and you're right, history could, maybe make them think about that to a degree. But Rodgers, as you've pointed out, I think has been so careful to not be like Brett Favre that I don't think he's ever given those signals to justify maybe some of those actions we're talking about.
We don't know what he's said.
No, you're right. We don't.
Though.
I know.
When you accept the fact that he's complicated, you plan for all possible permutations.
Sure.
And you don't want to give him that opening where he takes over and then he turns the tables on you unexpectedly and leaves you high and dry just for sport. I mean, I'm just trying to understand why they did what they did in April of 2020 as we try to understand why Mark Murphy said what he said just a few days ago. And what we know is coming up on July 26th. This is the only thing we know right now about the Packers.
Yeah.
July 26th, shareholders meeting. Boy. Oh, Lambeau Field, here they come. Now, this is different than a normal corporation. You can't sell the stock. No one can go out and try to accumulate a big block of it and try to have a hostile takeover. This is something that the Packers implemented back in the 20s when they didn't have money and they needed to raise cash, and they've had like 4 or 5 stock issuances over the years. And it isn't real power, but and I haven't studied the articles of incorporation or the bylaws. You would think there's some mechanism if the fans/shareholders aren't happy with what's going on. At a minimum, they can voice it.
Yeah, that's
At most,
right.
they could take action. I mean, I got the impression fans were pissed off about what Murphy said, that this backfired on him. If the goal was to try to win in the court of public opinion, that, he was trending on Twitter on Saturday after these comments came to light. And it wasn't in a good way.
No, definitely, because it just, I think even people who might be like, okay, Rodgers is a pain in the butt, he's a diva, and he's like, they see these, and if they're paying attention in the sports media over the last 2 weeks, they see both of those things and go, well, that's kind of messed up. What are you talking about? Most times if a player said something as stupid as, hey, Ken, with the whole don't let the bastards get you down. Hey, Ken, yeah, this Rodgers situation has really divided the fan base. Like, we would come on here and go, wait, there was a way better answer for that player to just come out with. And so Mark Murphy, here you go. I guess we'll have to talk to you like a player here. Like, you could have just said, hey, Ken, hey, we got a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers. It's part of the business. We'll fit this figured out somehow. But instead, you took a shot. And that's bullcrap, in my opinion. And there you are. You're going to expect the quarterback to be different and the players to be different and listen to your instructions and not do public things. But you're going to take that into your own hands and do it the way you want to when it comes time for you, doing what you want to do. And that's not cool. Players are going to see that too. They're not going to respect that at all.
Whatever happens on July 26th, Mark Murphy will speak at some point, and he'll have a chance to either make things better or make things worse with what he says. And look, the prevailing view continues to be that the Packers aren't going to budge here. There's no reason to budge here. If they would try to trade Aaron Rodgers right now, they're not going to get as much as they would get after the 2021 season. But you know what, Chris? If what happened on Thursday, when Murphy said what he said, was inadvertent, unscripted, unplanned, and he's just at the point where he can't help himself, and they're concerned about what may happen on July 26th, I don't know. It's a month and a half from now. A lot can change
It definitely
in a
can.
short period of time in the NFL. Could they wake up one day and decide we are going to explore this? It is in everyone's best interest to just be done with it, to quit playing this game, that this distraction is overwhelming the team. I don't think it'll happen, but we have to at least have it on the edge of the radar screen as a possibility that the Packers will have a change of heart. Maybe Mark Murphy starts to get some pressure from the board of directors as to what is it that you're really trying to do here. You know, he answers to a broader board, which consists of a lot of Green Bay area business people. There's an executive committee, him and maybe 6 others. And typically, if you know what you're doing, all those people are on board with you. Maybe what's happened over the last week could cause some of those folks to start saying, Mark, what's the
plan?
What are we really trying to prove here?
Yeah, right.
What's our end game here? Why are we fighting with this guy who has only performed his job at the highest possible level since he became the starter in 2008? Why are we trying to piss this guy off? Why are we trying? You know, future quarterbacks and players are going to be looking at how we treated Aaron Rodgers,
no doubt,
and think that's how they're going to get treated at some point. Why are we doing this?
No, there's no doubt. That's definitely going to be something. I mean, you know, now they have Jordan Love, but if they're trying to attract big-time free agent quarterbacks, maybe 2, 3, 4 years from now, the Jordan Love thing didn't work out, yeah, that's going to be thought of for sure. You know, nonetheless, like, these comments are going to, like, you know, they're going to have shockwaves through the locker room. Guys notice this. It's Aaron Rodgers. They're going to know what he's done for the organization playing-wise. So, yeah, they're going to lose lack of respect there for Mark Murphy for what's done there. But you're right. I mean, at some point, what is going to be done, you know, you're getting close to football here. I don't understand the point of continuing to take jabs at Rodgers. I would still think even at this point with Mark Murphy, like, hey, it looks like he's probably going to come back and play. Let's start thinking about how we're going to be the best Green Bay Packers team of 2021. You know, start, you know, maybe massaging it publicly and saying positive things. Get going on, like, the positive track for the football team. Forget it. And, you know, like the trade thing, you're right. It can arise at any point, any situation. Yeah, they probably can't maximize like we've talked about, but for a guy like Aaron Rodgers, you know, they could – you just got to get one team to just say, yeah, we want it. All right, we're sold. Let's go. They're going to get close to maximization for a player like Aaron Rodgers regardless. So I would think teams like Denver give one more call to Green Bay, you know, this last month before training camp starts just to see where it's at, and maybe a few other teams, and we'll see what Green Bay does from there.
You know, it really is fascinating that this is happening. There's only been 2 times in the history of the National Football League that the reigning MVP did not play for his team the next year, and both of those were retirements. Norm Van Brocklin and Jim Brown.
It's amazing.
The idea that the MVP, a guy who won it over guys like Patrick Mahomes, right, Russell Wilson, Lamar Jackson, Aaron Rodgers at age 37 with the finest season arguably of his career, and he's caught in this mess that is as much the team's making as it is his, and arguably it's more the team's making.
Yeah.
One thing that just came to mind that maybe we'll see and hear from Aaron Rodgers, because I check his Twitter page once a day just to see if there's anything there. We saw him playing the guitar and singing Taylor Swift in Hawaii. The Avril Lavigne song, Complicated. Wouldn't it be great if he learned that and sang that? Like, did a little karaoke with Complicated as a little FU to Mark Murphy and we see that on social media?
Wait,
that would be nice if that happens.
Hold on, I just lost a piece of my brain. How do you know Avril Lavigne and Complicated? Like, where did that come from, and how did you pull that song out of your butt out of nowhere all of a sudden? Where did that happen?
What do you think? Where do you think I've been for the last 50
Not
years?
listening to
I have lived on the planet. How do you know that? You don't know me.
Not listening to Hits
you
One.
Think you know me.
Yeah, I know you pretty good.
Maybe I have been.
You don't look like the kind of guy that's going down into the barn listening to Avril Lavigne and singing Complicated. That's what I felt like recently. I knew you. Maybe I don't now.
Now, look, there is a way that you can be aware of the song and not particularly like the song.
Right.
Not particularly have it on your playlist.
Oh, you're too.
But still know what it is. Know the title.
You're in too deep though. Now you like the song. You like it. It's on your playlist.
No, I don't. No, I don't. No, I don't. No,
I
don't.
Bull
crap. No.
Opening of the show tomorrow. Florio dancing to Avril Lavigne.
We don't have the rights to it. Can you think of another song that has Complicated in the title? It was the first one I thought of. He's a complicated fella.
There's
no song called Complicated Fella, so I had to settle for what I could find or at least think of in my brain while we were talking.
Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't have thought of any song or anything to deal with Complicated, let alone Avril Lavigne. I just wouldn't have not. I was shocked. So
just wait.
Yeah.
He's going to get that guitar back out. He's going to learn that. He's going to play that one chord that he learned. And they're going to sing Complicated.
Okay.
There can't not be a response from Aaron Rodgers. There can't be silence. He's got to say something. He's got to do something, doesn't he?
I don't think he does. I think this is perfect. If I'm him now, you just sit back. They look like the idiots and the jerks right now. Don't do anything. Just get ready for football. Make some Twitter and Instagram videos of you throwing lasers and spirals all over the place. Do that. Sell to the fan base you're all in on football, and here we go. Green Bay looks like the unprofessional jerks here. They're the ones that, like you just said, I think they deserve more of the blame than Rodgers. And I'm not saying he's perfect, but they certainly, from everything we know, and I know we don't know everything, but yeah, they deserve it. And Rodgers, I think right now, in the court of public opinion, could look better than them when this is all said and done.
And here's a reason for him to say and do nothing at this point. From Avril Lavigne to Napoleon Bonaparte, never interrupt your enemy when your enemy is making a mistake.
Yeah, right.
Good advice.
Right. Like Bill Belichick noticing there's chaos on the Seattle Seahawks sideline.
Don't call timeout.
Right, don't call timeout. They seem flustered, and they're going to mess this up. Yeah, there's something to that. It's a good quote. I like that one better than Avril Lavigne and Complicated.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.